where my experience comes from is we have actually at this point closer to 700 prosecution offices across America, across 33 states. And believe me, you guys do prosecution a lot different in California than you do in Louisiana, but it boils down to some of the same basic tenets. All right. Same way with little bitty counties that only have 2 or 3 prosecutors in them, all the way up to like Maricopa that has 1,000 users in it. So pretty broad stretch of different things we've dealt with. So what do you need to establish workloads? First and foremost, well, hey, guess what? You need accurate data. All right. Without accurate data, you don't have anything. So how do you get accurate data? Well, we're going to dispel one myth that you've dealt with for the last 20 years. Attorneys, yes, the attorneys must use the case management system. Imagine that. All right. And they need to use it for entering their charging decisions and court activity, especially dispositioning and sentencing if you don't already have a court interface. And if they do have a court interface, they still should be entering the disposition and sentencing as a check and balance against whatever the court clerk entered into their system. All right. So without timely charging and disposing, there's no workload tool or caseload tool that's ever going to work. It's just logical. Okay. But getting everybody to enter accurate data in a timely fashion is super important. And support staff should not simply retype what an attorney already decided or what an attorney heard in court. Okay. The attorney knows how to type. All right. So if you can get them to work with you and actually do data entry into the system, when they hear it, it becomes a natural byproduct of what they're doing. Most of our offices are fileless now. And the only way you can operate an office like that is to have attorneys doing simple data entry, not tons of data entry, but simple data entry. And once you have that, you can use the case management system to assign cases, monitor work queues, internal dashboards, and even external dashboards if you'd like to inform the public about how your office is doing. So how do we go about doing that with our software? Well, first of all, we're a person-centric system, all right? And on one page, you're going to see everything you need to know about Mr. Charles Bogus that you're looking at right here. You're going to be able to see that he's been defended 3 times, all of his finance, witness records, all of his co-defendant, stuff like that, civil litigation, and even text him if you need to remind him to show up for drug court. And what about case information? Here you're going to see when he's the witnesses on a case, the documents. By the way, our document stuff has complete video management built into it now. We also integrate with evidence.com, of course, co-defendant management, court dates, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, investigative services, et cetera. Okay, so these 2 screens, everybody in the office should know how to use, especially your attorneys. And then you can take it a step further and do automated case assignments, such as simple case assignments here. By attorney, you can say what is the current number of open cases and what would be the ideal number of open cases for that attorney, and automatically have them assign and level out case assignment based on what their current number of cases are. That's super simple math. You can refine that a little bit by saying, hey, what are the case type qualifications that attorney should have? Well, maybe you should be qualified to do a firearms case, grand jury, or criminal matters, or whatever else. And what other types of charge categories could that person potentially be in charge of? Maybe felony assault, maybe burglary, or leave them all unchecked. Person can do anything. And then the system will be able to automatically assign that case to whatever attorney has the least caseload based on how you define how heavy of a caseload that attorney should have. Because maybe a junior attorney should have less of a caseload. So that's all good and well if you're just counting numbers of cases, which is super simple and maybe not effective. Another way of looking at this is doing weighted case management. Here, we're going to go ahead and explain the weighted case management, where you can still use all the qualifications of what attorney's capable of doing, but maybe an ideal case load based on weighted cases is a particular number. Well, the first thing you have to do here is decide how hard is a homicide versus a DWI versus an assault. And this is all very arbitrary. So I'm going to pretend that, yeah, a homicide is worth 1,000 points and a DWI is only worth 50 points. And by the time I work through the caseload of that attorney, I'm going to automatically calculate how heavy his caseload actually is. Then I'm going to take the individual cases and multiply it by complication factors. We all know that if it's a domestic violence assault, all right, that's going to be a lot harder than just a normal assault. So maybe the weight multiplier to that should be like 1.25. And again, you can further refine how hard or how heavy that workload is within the software. And your case management systems might have, well, a lot of you guys have this case management system in case you're learning this on the fly. So to that end, once you have your cases automatically assigned to the attorneys in the appropriate manner, all right, then you can look at their work queues. And you can see, again, that instead of looking at a pile of paper sitting on a attorney's desk about how many charging decisions they're supposed to make now, you can see quite easily that Hal has approximately 7 or 8 in front of them. If somebody else has a couple hundred in front of them, that person is not keeping up on making their charging decisions. Okay. Same way with reminders. You can see that Hal's not keeping up on his reminders. He should not have this many. Supervisors should be able to see easily, transparently, right down to the workload that is sitting on that attorney's desk, including, of course, their caseload. There's this 178 cases that are open and active cases rolling through the system. And finally, you really want to record it all, track your time on it. Civil attorneys are going to do this all day long. Criminal attorneys don't do it a lot, obviously. But if you want to start tracking time that you're spending on even non-case related stuff, this would be a place where you'd want to track that time so you can see over a month's period that you're doing this much out of the office that didn't have anything even to do with cases. So wrapping up, once you have this stuff, you can have internal dashboards. These are simple SSRS reports that will show you in a pie graph, hey, what is your attorney workload across all your attorneys? If you got a lot more attorneys than this, pie graph's not going to make a lot of sense to you. Or simple bar charts, if you like visual representations of these in particular dashboards. Then external dashboards. This is part of the Karpel Foundation. You can have this dashboard for free if you have our software, because I already have all the data necessary to produce it. You guys are putting it in there. Please put it in there accurately. All right. That's the only way you're going to be able to inform your public accurately, is if you put in data accurately. So this is Monterey's. All this data has been embedded well, and I hope you guys make use of it someday. So to recap, how's all this possible? Accurate data entry. How to get accurate data entry? Engage your attorneys to actually putting that data in. All right. Don't just rely on support staff, because without it, it's not going to work. And support staff shouldn't be retyping anything an attorney already knows anyway.